you very much. You can see it is visible.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Yeah. First of all, thank you very much for having me this afternoon. And I would like to thank the Forum for Education Policy and Research, and also Dr. Imran Khan Sadazai and Dr. Ishaq, and of course, everybody who is present here. And thank you for having me introduced at this forum. And probably it has been like last 4 to 6 months that we had been holding these Zoom meetings to conduct this important webinar. So finally we are here, and on behalf of Center for South Asian Studies and my team, I would like to thank and also congratulate all those collaborators. The Center for Leadership and Empowerment, University of Poonch, Rawalakot, and University of Bolton. Thank you very much. So today's topic everybody has discussed, and Dr. Imran has already told that it is about the cultural dynamics. And I have been told, rather I have chosen the topic gender equality and women empowerment in modern day Pakistan. So on a lighter note, I would say that maybe what I'm going to present and what my opinion is, it might not endorse the ground realities, because here we see gender inequality. Only one woman is presenting. So this is dichotomy. I believe that we are talking about women empowerment and gender equality, and there is only one woman trying to tell that women are strong. Already they are strong. So to start with,
If I may come in, Professor Naheed, just
yeah.
to defend ourselves against this accusation. We asked 4 women, other scholars, top scholars. They were all unfortunately very busy for our meeting. They were too important. So we have what we have, and obviously yourself. So you count for those women.
So I endorse my point of view, because I always believe, I'm very much optimistic that women are empowered and women are strong. And there are some societal norms that needs to be addressed. Of course, I would be discussing in my presentation without taking much time. To start with the gender equality, I believe that it is like a commitment to a whole society, because there has been a misperception, even when we talk in a private or public sphere. We mean that gender equality means that we are talking about the women's rights. So for me, it is a human right. It is about that men and women, they need to have equal opportunities, equal access, and to form the inclusive and equitable environment. So this topic, gender equality, I believe that it has become more important in the modern times, and it has gained a significant recognition, because all over the world, the societies, they are striving to achieve more inclusive and equitable environment for all the individuals regardless of gender. So when we talk about the gender equality and women empowerment, which my topic is, so I believe that they are intertwined concepts, though there are some distinct things which I will be discussing a bit later. So these concepts, gender equality and women empowerment, they are necessary and mandatory, I believe, for a just and equitable society. And women in the societies across the globe, they need to be linked, they need to be informed, and they need to be educated. So this is my main point, because when we talk about the women and girls, they comprise of almost half of the population of the world, and that definitely means the half of the potential. So gender equality, beside being a human right, it is essential to reach at a peaceful society with full human potential and again with the sustainable development. So that means that when we empower women, that means we spur productivity and the economic growth. Global forums and gender equality. I see many people and students here from the gender and sociology as well. So I believe that everyone knows that what Article 1 of the United Nations says, 1948 Universal Declaration of Human Rights says, because they talk about the human rights to achieve the international cooperation in promotion and encouraging of respect rights and for the fundamental freedom of all without to race, sex, religion, or language. Then comes the 1948 Declaration of Human Rights that grants men and women equal rights, which are later recognized in the international law and in the landmark convention of elimination of all forms of discrimination against women. And then we see United Nations Security Council Resolution 1325 on women, peace and security. So when we see the decades from 75 to 85, UN decade for women, that has been a major component when we talk about the global feminism, the concept of gender right. It has provided the formal base for the international debate on women's position. So where does this gender equality, inequality originate from? Of course, there have been a lot of research. Maybe you can find thousands and thousands of articles and books, maybe. But I was just looking through two different things. One was an article. It is written here. I hope everybody can see it. Longest Revolution, The Struggle for Women Liberation by Juliet Michel. This link is also here. And the other is The Gendered Society by Michael Kimmel. It is 6th edition, which I have mentioned here. So they talk about the origin of inequality. How does we see this inequality in the societies? And when you talk about the gender equality, it is a mandatory thing that you need to dismantle the societal structures that challenge the traditional notion of the gender roles. This article, The Longest Revolution, it explores the idea that basically the gender inequality is deeply rooted in different spheres of our life. It could be economic, it could be political, it could be social. So it calls for a comprehensive and transformative approach towards women liberation. Then is the book Gendered Society by Michael Kimmel. He also examines the social construction of masculinity and femininity, how this gender inequality is perpetuated in the societies, but through various institutions. And here in this book, this author tries to argue that gender is not only a women issue, it is a human issue because it affects both sexes. Because the the societal expectations and the norms, they sometimes place limitation on men as well. So this is, I would recommend my students here, especially from South Asian studies, that they must go and read these books if they are interested in this topic. So the author emphasizes that importance of engaging men as allies in the pursuit of gender equality and challenging harmful stereotype is equally important. Then there is some quote about Kofi Annan. I hope most of the students, they must have heard about Kofi Annan organization that works for gender equality, and he has always advocated for against the racial discrimination. So for generations, women have served as peace educators, both in the families and in their societies. They have proved instrumental in building bridges rather than walls. Because he advocated for gender equality, he could recognize that it is crucial when we talk about having a just and peaceful societies and peaceful world at large. So his most of the course which he has written against the racial discrimination in favor of women empowerment, in favor of gender equality, he highlights the transformative power of women's empowerment and the need for inclusive leadership, because he was a strong advocate for gender equality, as it is not only a goal, it is a precondition to achieve peace in the world. Then there are few terms, because we have been reading and studying about the gender and gender equality. But I believe that along with this gender equality, we need to understand the gender blindness and gender sensitivity as well when we talk about women empowerment. And we need to counter the structural barriers. So it is very much important to trace the root cause where the problem originates. Gender, everyone knows that socially constructed roles that are associated with being male and female in the society, and the relation in the society, women, men, girls, and boys. And of course, unlike the sex, which is biologically determined, gender roles are, I believe, they are learned and they change over the cultures. Then comes the gender equality, which already I have discussed that it is about women and men. They need to be treated equally, be it in terms of rights, be it in terms of opportunities, be it in terms of responsibilities or access to public goods and services, and at the end of the day, equal outcome. So these gender equality and non-discrimination, I believe, that are fundamental human rights. Then comes the gender blindness. This is something that where we fail to recognize the roles and responsibilities. Uh, Roles and responsibilities of women and girls, men and boys. Sometimes they're ascribed and sometimes they're imposed upon them in a specific social, cultural, economic, or might be political context. So when we see the gender blind projects, programs, policies, and even attitudes, they do not take these different roles and diverse needs into account. So therefore, they maintain the status quo. That sometimes help aggravating the gender inequalities in the society. Then comes the gender sensitivity. Um, it is about understanding and taking into account the societal and cultural factors that involve in the gender-based exclusion and discrimination. And mainly it focuses on, I would say, structural disadvantages in the position and role of men. Gender equality and women empowerment. They're intertwined concepts, they're interlinked, but still they are distinct. Because I believe that when we talk about the women empowerment, we are referring to a process of personal and social change through which women gain power. That is, that they're in the position to take decision, to make choices and exercise the control on their lives, be it in private, be it in public. So this empowerment requires women have the ability and opportunity to influence their decisions. So for when we talk about the gender equality, women empowerment is equally important. So I have just explained about the gender equality, blindness, and what does empowerment say, and what world view is about that. And I strongly believe, and I hope that most of the people here among the team will agree, because when we talk about gender equality and women empowerment, women empowerment, we can't miss Sweden mentioning, because it is the world leader in gender equality. Um, just it's a small country in Scandinavian Peninsula with 10.6 population, but it believes in equal power and influence for women. That's what Sweden is aiming for, because it has been a pioneer promoter of gender equality. And basically Sweden works for that everyone, regardless of gender, he or she has the right to work and support themselves to balance the career and family life, and to live without the fear of abuse or violence. And this is something very amazing and interesting, that the World Economic Forum, that they make this, they rank almost 150 countries around the world, they present gap between women and men according to few indicators which are based on health, economy, politics, and education. And this report started back in 2006, and it is really, really interesting that since the report's inception from 2006, Sweden has never ranked lower than fifth, because it believes in equality in workplace. And there are many more things, but I will not go in the detail, just a little bit of it, to just to have a comparison. It talks about gender discrimination, and that has been illegal, that is considered illegal since 1980s. They have like Discrimination Act that came into force back in 2009, and it basically demands that all those employers not actively promote the equality between men and women, but they also take measures against the harassment. So then they have equality ombudsman for the protection of rights. They have equal family policies. They have family policy that supports working parents with the same right and obligations for both men and women, making it much, much easier for the parents in Sweden to find a decent work-life balance. And back in 1974, Sweden was the first country that replaced the gender specific maternity leave with the gender neutral parental leave. The so-called parental insurance enabled the parents to take like 6 months off from their work. So, and also I would like to mention in 1995, they had first daddy month that was introduced, that they have like 30 days of leave reserved for the father on a use it or lose it basis. And if father decides not to use the month of work, the parents would lose 1 month's paid leave. So this is how it has been working for uh, gender equality. These are just some pictures. I hope this I forgot the name of these lights. I hope, Dr. Imran, can you help me? What was this? These lights,
The Northern Lights,
the
the
Northern
Aurora
Lights.
Borealis.
Yeah, I missed when I was in Sweden. Yeah, the Northern Lights. Yeah. So this is a World Population Review country ranking in gender equality. Sweden stands at fifth, and then there is a chart about the happiest countries in the world, and Sweden ranks fourth. And it is also very interesting that among these four, three are northern Scandinavian countries. So here I will talk about the Swedish foreign policy a little bit, because it is in that way not directly concerned to our topic, but since I was talking about the gender equality. So Swedish foreign policy, feminist foreign policy, they basically, that depends on 3 R's, which are very much important. These 3 R's, they represent rights, representation, and the resources. Right is like the aim at ensuring women and girl human rights and working against all types of gendered violence and discrimination. Then second is the representation that seeks women's increased participation at all level in decision-making processes. Then comes the resources. It is considered as an inspiration towards a gender equal distribution of the resources and the assets. The agenda includes working for sustainable peace, development, and it aims at working towards an implementation of that I earlier mentioned 1325 resolution on women, peace, and security. So here is the basic point where I need to discuss about the gender equality and women empowerment in modern day Pakistan. So I would say, because as earlier I said that I am very much optimistic when we talk about women empowerment and gender equality. Though there are discrepancies, even in Sweden, there are women who talk about that men and women are not getting equal wages. So it is a utopian world. Maybe you cannot get the 100% result, but things are improving. So what my point is that we need to see through that positive prism. We should not always start that how gender inequality is taking surface in Pakistan. We should see it other way around. So my point is that women in Pakistan, in modern Pakistan, I would say, they are empowered and they are excelled in every field, from politics, business, education, media, entertainment, health, agriculture, and even as an agent of social change. And also because everyone knows, we always quote example for Benazir Bhutto, the first female prime minister in the Muslim world. So already I believe that Pakistan is changing towards a positive direction. Then I would also quote a few other ladies. The first female permanent representative to the United Nations, Maliha Lodi, Shiri Mazari, the first female human rights minister back in 2018. We had the female poverty alleviation social safety minister in 2018, Sania Nashtar. And we see Nigar Johar, the first female lieutenant general. So, but this is, I would say, but this is only one part of the story. This is larger picture there that is incomplete, I would say, and it requires a suitable addressing mechanism. So aside from such female representation in the society, both at the national level and the global level, I would say the current system in Pakistan, this environment, our environment that lacks the institutional foundation to allow for the transformative shift. So this is the point we need to have. This was just Benazir Bhutto's address at the Fourth World Conference on Women in Beijing 1995, that we need to shape a world free from exploitation, maltreatment of women, a world in which women have the opportunities to rise to the highest level in the politics, business, diplomacy, and other spheres of life. Whether there are no, I can't see my screen now. So where honor and dignity are protected in the war and conflict, where we have economic freedom and independence, and where we have equal partners in peace and development. So it was just a rough data that I collected from the university I come from. So it shows that male and female students at the graduate level, we see that the the female students are more than the male students. That I believe that women and girls, they're excelling in education, even at the administrative jobs, and even at the competitive exams level. From last many years, I have been closely watching the results of public service mission and federal public service mission. The first 10 positions, more often, they're won by the girls. So that means there is a change in the society. Also, faculty at PU, we have 407 female teachers and 553. So I believe that they will cross this gap soon. So why progress is slow? Do we need to renew our collective commitments? Yes. The earlier, as I said, that for the institutional foundation, we need to have a shift that is accepted by the society, because it's not about bringing all women on table, and it's not about giving strength to all women and then there will be gender equality. It could be an important part of the process, I believe. And the more important thing is that we need to create a favorable institutional structure. Then it is to set the gender equality and parity goals. If the role and status of women in the society, we need to change their role and status. So what we need to do is the discourse through which the society operates, that needs to be transformed. So I believe that this academic discussion, this academic forum, contributes to the current academic scholarship in a unique way. And the technologies and the instruments required to create a system of equality in the society, they need to be prioritized. And without a breakdown of why these gendered connections exist, society will remain unable to take a step forward in defying the limitations that repress women. So it is just a part of the same thinking which we say that because Pakistan gender-based discrimination stems from deeply entrenched patriarchal society, resulting in biased attitudes. Here I would focus because earlier I had a meeting with Dr. Imran and Dr. Ishaq like 2 months ago, and I had been discussing that we will talk about the biased attitude. My point of view is it is about the inheritance that needs to be addressed. Nobody talks about that. Here I believe that women are being repressed because of the societal and cultural pressure. So here we need to have more research, we need to provide more data, we need to have more awareness. So it is only then that we can be able to break down that structural and socio-cultural barriers that continue to limit women empowerment. Gender inequality, comprehensive policy, intervention across multiple fronts, economic empowerment, education, health, so and so. What is needed? Like gender responsive approach, again I would say, because when you need a system to change, you need to transform that system also, which is the channel for that. Strengthening the production and utilization of gender data. I think Dr. Ishaq might can help, because I believe that women are working too much, especially in the rural background. So I don't know if the statistics exactly exist or not, but that needs to be utilized on the positive grounds. So, but again, coming to the point, being more optimistic, I'm always optimistic when I talk about the gender equality and women empowerment, because with each generation, women ability to live their lives choose their lives, to make decisions, it is getting better because it reaches a place, I believe, that where our grandparents' generation even never thought that it could be possible. So, but that does not mean that everything is perfect. Uh, and that also does not mean that our work is finished, that we have crossed a certain bar and maybe we need to stop. No, I believe that we need to work for 4 A's, I always say: availability, accessibility, acceptability, and then adaptability. That is very much important because the societies need to involve and adopt free thinking and debate, and only then this comprehensive policies and strategies will work in the societies. Emma Watson, I believe everyone knows her, just a quote that it is the time that we all see gender as a spectrum instead of two sets of opposing ideas. And I believe that women, it's not about making women strong when we talk about gender equality, when we talk about women empowerment. Women are already strong. It is about changing the way the world perceives their strength. So this is very much important, that how do we change the perception of the world. Food for thought is that I would say that tolerance and intercultural dialogue and respect for diversity, they have become more important in today's world, because when we talk about the global village, we talk about interconnectedness of the people. So these things are becoming more closely relevant than ever before, because it is, maybe it is human nature, we always fear of change. So I would say that people might be, in earlier times, people might be having a fear of having electricity, that when it will come, what will happen. So uh, what happened? Change, it is a circle, it has to move on. So if you think you are too small to have an impact, try going to bed with a mosquito.
Yeah.
So, and I
And
have
yep,
this is a small video for 3 minutes. I don't know how I can share it. Is it
Press Night,
possible?
it's gonna be, yeah, unfortunately with there's some technological issue we have at the moment
Okay.
with sharing videos. Otherwise, we were trying to play a video ourselves at the start, but it
Oh,
didn't work.
thanks
Uh,
for your patience. And I will just end with a note which I always say, that equality is not optional. And women across the globe, whether it's your mother, it's your sister, it's your colleague, or it's your daughter, everyone needs to be appreciated and uplifted, because this world needs strong women. So keep dreaming, keep believing, and keep achieving. More power to you. Thank you. Thank you for bearing me.
Lakla, Lakla. Thank you very much, Professor Knight. Thank you very much for that very interesting comparative presentation, where you were able to bring across a case study example, in this case, Sweden, of course, in terms of their policies in meeting gender equality needs. Of course, these terms themselves are slightly contentious, as our great scholars will, of course, admit, in terms of what do we mean by gender, in terms of equality, equanimity, etc., etc. And there's been a recent High Court ruling here in the UK and in the United States as well, under the Trump administration, where we had confused and blurred the boundaries in gender studies, really, or understanding of gender, and this notion of sort of transgender or spectrum of genders has, of course, been challenged now. In the last few years, there was a movement towards it where gender itself became a very contentious term. But now we're sort of seeing some sort of normality or rationality in terms of it being fixed or assigned to a sort of biological basis or status. So there is debate. It's a huge issue. When we speak about women's empowerment and education, I think Professor Naid is really speaking about those values which are universal in terms of respect, humanity, and looking upon women in terms of the roles that they play in society, and that begins all the way from mothers to teachers. And so that's a wonderful exposition. I think what Professor Naheed is speaking about is a culture in Pakistan which has opened up, or is slowly starting to open up. Women are becoming, I shouldn't say accepted, that's a very wrong thing to say, because just wanted to add a point. In Afghanistan, I had the misconception that, somehow men saw themselves as being more dominant than women, more powerful, more masculine. Actually, I couldn't have been more wrong, and kind of highlights the point Dr. Vazine said, which was actually what I understood was men saw themselves actually as sacrificial lambs for the protection of their women. And in fact, what Saeed was speaking about was we can become too protective sometimes, to the point where we actually end up crushing the independence, autonomy of individuals. And so that speaks broadly to our own mindsets and something that we need to eventually look at. But what Professor Naid is speaking about is a maturity now thinking. And that's why her example from Sweden is pertinent, because it's about us maturing our thought, not necessarily becoming overtly liberal to the point where we lose our heritage, our religion, our tradition. Those are guidelines and parameters. So thank you very much, Professor Naid.